Hi, my name is David Nash. I'm the Director of Legal Education for the Foundation for Educational Administration, and I'm the coordinator for the Legal One program. I'm very excited to be here today to have the chance to talk with Marty Kalbach. Marty is the Director of the New Jersey School Boards Association Insurance Group, and we're excited that the New Jersey School Boards Association Insurance Group has entered into a partnership with FEA in the Legal One program to try to enhance school law training for educators and school leaders across the state of New Jersey. So Marty, thank you for being here with us today.
No, you're very welcome. I look forward to the partnership that we've been talking about.
That's great. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your role and about the New Jersey School Boards Insurance Group?
The New Jersey School Boards Association Insurance Group has been around since 1983. We provide property, casualty, and workers' comp insurance for public schools in the state of New Jersey. We have approximately 380 districts of the 600. We are a nonprofit public entity group.
One of the things that I know your association insurance group provides is assistance when you have a school district that's struggling with a difficult legal question. So can you talk a little bit about the service that you'll provide to your districts if they're dealing with a legal issue and they're not quite sure what to do?
Well, what we found over the course of time is that many districts struggle with employment practice decisions. We end up with many claims resulting from those decisions. So we've provided a free employment practice hotline for our districts, our member districts, to call. The hotline attorney answers the phone and provides a written response within 1 day. And if our member follows that advice and they're still sued, they'll have their deductible for that claim waived. And their deductible could be $5,000 or $10,000. So it becomes a $5,000 or $10,000 phone call. If they call and follow the advice, they can waive the deductible and save their district that amount of money.
And what has your experience been as far as that helpline and reducing the number of mistakes that school districts are making?
We found it to be very effective. School districts are now making far less, I would say a reduction of 30% less lawsuits and dollars associated with those lawsuits. So it's been a very effective method for us to save the membership money with respect to employment practice claims. In the same time, it saved them the time and aggravation of dealing with a lawsuit.
So part of what you're trying to do here is to be proactive and try to get folks to come to you before some major decision is made that could have legal implications.
Absolutely. It's called a break. Let's put the brakes on. Let's think about what we're doing before we do it. Let's get some good advice. And that's exactly what we're doing, David, is we're thinking about it beforehand, and we're trying to get all the I's dotted and T's crossed before we make that adverse employment action decision.
That's great. You know, one of the other ways that I know you're looking to be more proactive is in providing greater staff development, greater training for school district personnel so that we understand what we're supposed to do, what we're not supposed to do. That's why we're so excited about this partnership with you, where we're going to work together on school law training for school leaders and educators. Why don't you talk a little bit about the partnership that we have entered into together and the value you see in working with the Legal One program?
Well, there's no doubt that training today's school district administrators and principals is an important part of us keeping the claims low for the membership of the New Jersey School Board Association Insurance Group. You're offering the training, as far as I can see, that's really pertinent to them being able to make good decisions that are going to save the district money. And so we're really happy and excited to be part of this partnership and get our name out there to allow our members access to your training at discounted rates. We've, working with you, David, we've offered discounts for our members to take your courses, and we think that's a great win-win situation.
And we're thrilled about it. The discounts that have been put together are 20% off of the cost of most of our school law training programs. So that can be a very significant training for savings for a school district for their training. And we are now sending out more information to your member districts to make sure they take advantage of these discounts. So we will include some information on our website to sort of reinforce how your school districts can take advantage of these savings.
That's great. And in addition to the discount, I think we've come into an agreement that if we get over 90% participation in certain trainings, we're willing to waive a deductible for a claim that comes through regarding those trainings. So it's a twofold win. They'll get an upfront discount, and then they'll get a waiving of a deductible for a particular claim.
And that could be, again, up to $10,000 in savings, as long as school districts have their personnel go through our training programs.
Exactly. It was a win-win. I mean, if these folks go through the training, they're not less likely to have a lawsuit that they've got to defend and deal with. But on top of that, if they go through the training and the lawsuit comes anyway, they could save $5,000 or $10,000 for a deductible that we would be willing to waive.
That's great. Let's turn to, unfortunately, the tragic incident that just occurred in Connecticut. Obviously, the whole nation is in mourning over this issue and the lives that were lost. And we're all asking, what can we do to help to prevent and deal with these issues in the future? And it's a very, very difficult, complicated set of questions. But one of the things that we are going to try to do together is to put some more professional development out there on issues of student safety. So we are very excited that we're now going to offer, at no cost to school districts, a series of 4 trainings on various aspects of student safety. So I want to thank you for entering into us for that partnership to provide that critical training.
Yeah, we're excited about that partnership. I know that this training was in planning before the events in Connecticut, but the timing couldn't be better. And we want to get the message out to the districts as much as we can about what they can do to help prevent this type of thing from happening in their school district.
So just to briefly review the trainings that we are offering, on January 10th, we're offering a workshop on education and law enforcement working together, which is really critical. We have to make sure that our schools and law enforcement work very closely together, share information, understand the procedures that have to be followed when emergency situations come up. So that session will really focus on that issue. And our February 14th session will address identifying and dealing with students at risk of harm to themselves or others. Our experience has been that we have some kids who are struggling with issues and sometimes consider suicidal ideation and sometimes consider lashing out and going after other students. But there are warning signs. There are things that we can look for to help us understand that these kids are in trouble and to try to provide some help. So we're going to offer that at that February session. And maybe we can talk for a moment about the March program we're going to do. That session on March 12th is on school crisis, emergency, and safety planning. Why is that issue so important?
Well, there's some very practical things school districts can do to help prevent the kind of carnage that we saw in Connecticut. And I think at this training session we can go through those steps, and there are steps that aren't that onerous, they aren't that expensive, but it's the kind of thing that if you take those practical steps, you'll avoid the problems of a shooter coming into a school. So I think that third training is going to be real important to all school districts relative to avoiding that type of catastrophe.
and there are prudent steps that all school districts should be taking to think about these sorts of crises. And unfortunately, in New Jersey, we've seen other types of crises happening in recent months. We had the terrible situation with Hurricane Sandy, and certainly that's another type of emergency that school districts need to think through. How do we respond? What role do we have in that process? So we'll cover various aspects of planning for emergencies and making sure that we're doing everything possible to help with those situations. And then finally, our last session, the one on April 11th, we'll talk about bringing all this together, a systemic approach to student safety. With all the other things that educators are doing, we're worried about, understandably, improving test scores and improving student achievement, having a better evaluation system. Our number one priority still has to be protecting kids.
Absolutely. I use the analogy of when you have people walking into your building with 10 fingers and toes, they better have 10 fingers and toes when they come back out. And protecting students and student safety should be the number one priority for managing a school building from the insurance guy's point of view.
Absolutely. And certainly from the point of view of NJPSA members and school leaders across New Jersey. So again, I want to thank you for your efforts and for the efforts of the School Boards Association Insurance Group. I think it just sends a wonderful message that we're working closely together to provide this type of training and this type of support for our school districts and hopefully for our children.
Well, you're very welcome. We look forward to this partnership, and we think that we're going to be able to pass the kind of information along which is going to be meaningful to school districts. So I want to thank you also. And
once again, we are going to put more information on the Legal One website, on the NJPSA and FEA website, and certainly on the website for the New Jersey School Boards Association Insurance Group, so that everyone understands how to take advantage of these opportunities. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.